And then I thought this other the cop that pulls him off, I thought he was like coming trailing. No, he was right there, running back right to the next to the quarterback in shotgun the whole time. Well, buddy, what are you watching?
That's Devonta Freeman in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, basically.
Play hand of the fucking blitzer.
Donta sure looks like he's got something he wants to do. I'm sure it's nothing. I'm sure it's not a problem.
He's rushing. He's running straight forward to the quarterback. It can't be. He can't have any intent of doing anything. No way. No
Too
way.
far away. Not my issue.
No way.
Great day for internet videos between the guy tackling the judge and
brother
Cat Williams.
Man, listen. And I went to YouTube after because I was like, I just want to see how long the video is, because bro, I've seen like 75 different videos float on the time, and I've made it a commitment to like not watch most of them because I wanted to watch on my own time. And I'm like, it was 2 hours, 48 minutes, and like 30 seconds. I was like, okay, that makes sense, because I've seen legitimately like 30 different videos pass, and they're all great. All of them were great. I love it. But he's mad at everybody. Like, yo, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. That's basically the theme of this. I love it. I'm here for it.
I saw someone earlier. I can't remember if it was Dreadcraft or if he retweeted it. He was involved for sure. But he was like, I've never seen Shannon Sharpe be quiet for this long. Like,
that's so true.
He was really just sitting there. Like, I did not anticipate this going like this today. I thought we were going to tell some jokes, have a good old time. Cat was like, Cat
told jokes though. Just
for sure.
He told jokes, but like he didn't think that we were going to go on a fuck you tour for almost 3 hours. He didn't think that. He even said in one of the clips, he's like, man, I hope I have a show after this. Cat's firing at everybody. It's great.
Yeah, I haven't watched the whole thing yet. Don't know if I ever will. All the clips are enough for me.
I don't know if I could sit there and watch it in one sitting. It might have to be a 3 sitting kind of affair, because that's 2 hours, damn near 3 hours. It might be a 2 or 3 sitting affair, but I would watch that whole thing. I need to see the whole thing.
It was genuine. Everything he said was so funny. Like, you can tell. I think the most truthful thing he said too in one of the clips, he was like, before he stands up, and Shannon's still taller sitting down, but he stands up. He's like, before you and God, if I see him, I'm punching him in his belly. He didn't say he was going to beat his ass. He was going to punch him in the belly. He's like, I got that for him. Promise.
But who was he talking about?
Cedric the Entertainer. He said he was a walrus.
I saw that quote. He said he was a walrus. He said, my favorite one was, he said he has like 4 comedy specials. You can't find them on Netflix or Tubi. I was like, hey, that's a bar.
So they're not. Yeah, Shannon was like, you don't think he's funny? The world doesn't think he's funny. Why would I? The rest of the world's come to an agreement. Not funny.
Cat Williams he's one of one.
He is.
He's one of fucking one.
He is. And then somebody did like I'm going to do the parentheses so it looks like I'm whispering on here. Cat Williams is the level of comedian you guys have been pretending Dave Chappelle has been for 20 years. Nobody can just have a moment anymore. It's like if Jason Tatum misses a single jump shot in the first quarter, it's like, I thought you guys said he was better than Kuzma. Like, nobody can ever.
I'm so sorry. The name that I was expecting was not fucking Kyle Kuzma. Jesus Christ. That take aged like milk.
That take was bad the day it was sent.
Yeah, for sure. And it aged even worse than what it was.
It's gotten worse.
I thought you were going to say like LeBron or somebody good. I was like, who's like, what?
But like, that's kind of, it's like, there's no, it's only platitudes at this point. It's not like the Celtics lost to the Thunder last night. And we're going to get to baseball because there's been so much to talk about. Celtics lost to the Thunder last night. And it's just like, oh man, can the Celtics get out of the first round? It's their 7th loss. Like, what are we doing?
I mean, the thing with Twitter that's really irritating is that like two entities can't be great or can't be bad at the same time. It just has to be one is great, one is bad. It's like, I mean, the Patriots have a shitty quarterback, so you can relate to this. It's like, oh well, the Patriots didn't. He doesn't have 10 seconds to throw on 2 Hall of Fame receivers. It's like, yo, both the setup and the guy can suck. Like at the same time, I promise you, both the setup and the guy could fucking stink. They both stink. Like nobody's saying Mac is in great circumstances. Fine, you want to say that? That's fine. But he also is not. He's part of the bad circumstances. He makes it hard to evaluate the wide receivers because guess what? When they're open, they still don't get the football. That's the problem.
Right.
That's the problem.
Yeah, it's like Cat's having a great day. He's had a great career. I don't know anyone who's like, Cat Williams isn't funny. Like, I've never heard anyone say that.
Oh, I saw that on Twitter today, multiple times.
Oh, yeah,
which is insane. But yes, I've never met real people. I assume people who get shit off like that are bots. So I've never met any real people who think Cat Williams is not funny.
But it's like to just immediately be like, he's always been funnier than Chappelle. Like, you can also just say like, I don't love Chappelle's latest stuff. That's fine.
Oh, you just don't have to bring up fucking Chappelle. It's not Chappelle's day. It's not his moment. Chappelle didn't put shit out today. Like, I know he put shit out recently. Fine. He ain't put shit out today. Chappelle ain't going on media blitz. He ain't on a podcast. Nothing. Chappelle's just sitting somewhere minding his own fucking business. Cat Williams, well,
he's probably not minding his own business.
Probably not minding his own business, to be fair there. But Cat Williams came out with a podcast episode and is flaming fucking everybody. Yo, we could just appreciate that and just focus on that. We don't have to bring anybody else into this shit.
And he, like, Cat did bring up Chappelle in this, and he called him the GOAT. So that's where it's also like, buddy.
Right. If Cat said negative shit about Chappelle, sure, I'd have nothing to say about those comparisons. Fine. If that's what you want to, it would be relevant at that point. Cat himself said Chappelle's better. He said himself. He said it himself that he's better. You just don't have to compare them. Just let Cat have his moment. He's fucking brilliant. Let him have his moment.
People are very silly. But it's all, it's only platitudes. There's no more. Like if someone came out and they were like, this cements it for me, Cat Williams is the 17th best stand-up of all time, I'd be like, you know what? Pretty level-headed take. I'm not going to parse through the other 16 or like the 5 who might be ahead of them. Have at it. You know what I mean? If people came out and they were like, you know what? I think Kobe Bryant's the 11th best basketball player of all time. You would never, like, I don't have him there. I think that's a little high even for me, but I wouldn't push back on that because it's like, you know what?
Right, because I would tell you he's like 16th. Who the fuck cares?
Exactly. I'm not going to
11 for 16th.
When you call him 1, that's when I'm like, all right, let's dial it back a bit.
Yeah, or 2 or 3, but yeah, I get the point. Like,
But it's like he's having a great day. If neither of them were being brought up, and you were just like, I think Cat Williams was funnier than Dave Chappelle,
that'd be far less annoying.
Conversation.
That'd be far less annoying because it would just be like, okay, you just trying to have a dialogue, cool.
Right.
Like, Cat Williams having this moment like, Chappelle will never be Cat. Like, thanks. What do you want us to do with this? Thanks, I guess.
It's insane how people just like, let me bring up this thing that has nothing to do with what I'm talking about to get a point off because I'm using what everyone else is already talking about as a launching pad. It's like, why don't you go sit down somewhere?
Please.
Shut the fuck up.
Please, just enjoy the fucking content. Like, we don't have to make everything a fucking comparison. We really don't.
No, I mean, I watched Celtics Thunder last night, and with the exception of the third quarter where they just didn't show up, I was like, this is a damn good basketball game. Win, lose, or draw. Damn good basketball game. That's it. I wasn't like, man, we got to blow it up. We got to trade everybody.
Can they get out of the second round? It's like, aren't the Thunder like the second best team in the West, or am I making that up?
Yeah,
they're up there. Right. Yeah. So it's like, they lost to a great team on the road. That happens. What's the problem?
After winning 6 straight. And those just don't matter.
No, of course not.
They never do. But this is only teams that matter. We're here to talk about baseball, despite allegedly baseball not wanting anyone to talk about it.
Yeah.
But since we've been gone, the Red Sox did make a trade, and I was thinking about something, because I talked about it already on the channel. But part of talking about it with you is Red Sox Yankees shit talk. And one thing I realized is like there was no celebrating from Yankee fans that Chris Sale's out of the division. And that sucks for like Red Sox fans. Red Sox fans should be like, Chris Sale put such a haunt into the Yankees. Like Yankee fans were thrilled when Pedro went to the Mets. They were like, all right, we don't have to deal with that shit. Yes. Chris Sale leaving because he's just not the guy he was 4 years ago. There's no celebration in the streets that he's out of the division. And that to me sucks.
Yeah, and it kind of tells you where we're at with the rivalry as a whole. Because last year was largely a wash. Like even if Chris Sale being what he is, which to me is a good pitcher who just can't stay fucking healthy. Like that's what he is. Like I don't want to see Chris Sale still. I don't necessarily want to see my team face Chris Sale.
Sure.
But the chances are I'm not going to see him face Chris Sale because he's going to be in the IL. That's just how his last like 3 years have gone. But just if both teams came off of 190 and 100 win and 98 win seasons, and like there'd be some dancing in the streets, like sure. Chris Sale's gone, da 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 da. But we're too busy. Like, yo, can you sign a pitcher, please? That's what Yankee fans are on right now. Can you sign a pitcher? Even though basically none of them have no noteworthy ones have actually signed since Yamamoto got signed.
No.
So.
Well, I mean, I take some offense to that.
Wow, who's noteworthy?
Lucas Giolito.
I'll ask one more time. Who is noteworthy?
I think it's noteworthy when a $20 million pitcher gets signed.
Yo, the pitcher market right now, listen. And let me just say, this is a prediction that I feel like is pretty obvious at this point. Given what Frankie Montas and Giolito just went for, brother, Jordan Montgomery and Blake Snell's free agency are going to last for a while. Like, that's going to go until it's January 3rd. Don't be surprised if it's Valentine's Day and them dudes have not signed yet. Do not be fucking surprised.
Yeah, it's weird. It feels like it did pre-lockout with Bryce and Machado and JD, guys like that.
And except like that was clear, like there's something going on here.
Sure,
you're not fooling me. There's something going on.
But I'm also not fooled here. Like every team outside of the Dodgers and the Yankees still have a crazy payroll, even if it's not necessarily worth it at the moment. They have plenty of talent there.
Why was that? Why
I mean, the overall payroll, you're paying for a World Series caliber team. You don't have one. I think that's fair.
I mean, it is, but all right, go ahead. Go ahead.
Every other team's using the CBT as like a hard cap, and that sucks. Like that sucks for the players. It's nothing more than wage suppression. Like, and if you're a free agent right now, I don't know what you're supposed to do. Last offseason was the offseason to be a free agent. Everyone was spending money. No one gave a fuck.
Now, to be fair, and I'm gonna say this in as non-bootlicker a way as I could possibly say it. Like, yes, the CBT thing is 100% for sure. Last year's free agent market, the top of it was just way better than this one.
Sure, but that doesn't really excuse the 15 or so top 25 players who still haven't signed.
I mean, it kind of does, though. Because it's like, all right, we're looking at... Because there's a clear reason why, let's say, you don't want to overpay for Jordan Montgomery. There's a clear reason why. Like,
I'm not even necessarily saying overpay. These agents don't have an insane misread of everything. They're like, hey, we have a number. We're not going to come much lower than that. And what I think is they're not even getting remotely close to like fair offers. Not even like, I mean, Xander's contract's going to be the albatross that everyone points to, and rightfully so. But it's like Montgomery's not, I don't think they were like, oh, Yamamoto got 325. That means I'm 250 now. I don't think that's what's happening.
Right. But like if he's asking for 165, which I don't think that's far-fetched. Like, I'm not paying him close to that either if I don't have to. So I get why the pushback exists, because every single guy at the top of the free agent class now, they come with massive warts. Whether it's age-related warts or performance-related warts, or in some cases, both. So I get why they do. I get why we're here.
To me, it's like, because I'm seeing a lot, like most of the rumors that are even coming out right now are like, oh, teams are willing to trade for young controllable arms with the Marlins and the Mariners. Really, those are the only teams with young controllable arms.
Then they have like 15 of them between them, but yeah.
And it's just like those fan bases are like, well, we need your top 3 players for our number 5. And I know that's not how the front offices are working, but why wouldn't I give Jordan Montgomery $10 million more than I'm comfortable with, as opposed to gutting my farm system for a guy who's probably not as good yet?
I mean, it depends on who. It depends on who we're talking. Like what team we're talking about. Like
I'll just say like Brian Wu. Like
oh yeah, I'm not. Yeah, no.
You know what I mean? Do I want to trade Marcelo Meyer for the Mariners number 4 starter, who they don't even want?
I'm glad you brought Meyer up, because I wouldn't be shocked if he's traded before the end of this before the end of the offseason.
I would be a little surprised. I don't necessarily see, because we got Grissom. Is that why you say that?
Partially. And until I see the Red Sox actually attack their pitching weaknesses, let's call it that, I will firmly believe that they're a threat to trade for one of the better younger arms on the market. Like, I think they're legitimately in play for a Luzardo. And if you're going to get him, you're probably going to have to come off Marcelo at a minimum.
That's like, what did he just get traded for? It's not like he was traded forever ago.
I mean, it might as well have been. He was traded 3 years ago.
There's no way it was 3 years ago.
Brother, go look it up. I'm fairly certain it was 3 years ago.
That's shocking.
Yeah.
He was hurt in 21.
Yeah, because the A's, I don't remember the package A's.
He got traded at the deadline at 21, so it was 22. We're going to count it as 22.
I don't think that's how math works. Or the calendar works. I know you're a big fan of the calendar.
Well, it's less than 3.
That's how the calendar works.
It's for sure less than 3.
It's closer to 3 than it is to not 3. Like, to 2. It's closer to 3.
So he got traded for rental Starling Marte.
Yes, they gave up on him. Like, I think they gave up on him at that point. And I mean, the A's, to be fair to the A's, like, they were actually in contention at that point, which underscores how long ago 3 years could actually be, or 2.5 years could actually be. But
right.
Yeah, so like, yes, but the circumstances have changed. Like, he's put a great season on record, and like we've said, we've seen the type of fucking proposals coming from fans of the Mariners or fans of the Marlins with their controllable pitching, and we've seen some of the stuff floated from media types about it. You're gonna have to pay. You have to pay.
I mean, the Mariners. I haven't seen many Marlins fans, mostly because there aren't a ton of them, but Mariners fans need to like really calm it down. They're like, you got to trade Casas and Meyer, and it's just like, on what planet is that? What's going? First of all, and like, I'm seeing it from both sides now too. Mariners fans asking for the moon, and then Red Sox fans being like, I'm so tired of seeing Red Sox fans fake trade proposals with like bad prospects and this. Part of the reason fans do that is because in the real world, all the time, we see guys get traded for bad prospects, like all the time, literally all the time. So that's where it's like, yeah, why wouldn't fans do that?
Like, I mean, thankfully, the Padres and Yankees trade didn't feature that. Thankfully.
Yeah, all stars they got.
Oh yeah, baby.
Sure.
Yeah,
Kyle Higashioka, 17 straight all stars coming up. 32 games last year for Luzardo. 125 ERA plus, 3.58 ERA. Like 3.55 FIP, so his ERA and his FIP were pretty much identical.
Yep.
This isn't like an ace. He's a good pitcher. I like him. I would accept him, no doubt. This isn't an ace. You can't trade an ace package for him. You can't trade what the Mariners.
Who's to say he can't be an ace?
He's entering his age 26 season. I think he's.
That's the point. Who says he can't be an ace?
Me. I'm saying.
Not every established ace was an established ace by 26.
No, not necessarily, but I feel like most of them were.
I mean, I don't have a history book open in front of me to go through them, so I don't fucking know. But
like, DeGrom was a rarity for him.
Very true. That is very true.
That doesn't happen all the time. Cole was the number 2 pick in the draft. Like, he was always projected to be an ace. He just played for the Pirates. That wasn't his fault.
And they had him throwing fucking sinkers, but that's another story for another.
Right.
Day.
Like
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that was a guy. There were 2 aces taken at the top of that draft. Both of them won Cy Youngs. You know what I mean? Like that. That's where it's like they were teenagers when they were projected to be aces. Luzardo projects to be like a number two. I'm not saying he's bad by any stretch. I'm
Right.
not trying to devalue him, but I think he's a number two. I don't think anyone's walking around saying he's an ace.
I think he could be. Now, on the same side, like I understand if a Red Sox fan is like, bro, I gotta pay Meyer and like other really good prospects for. If the Red Sox were closer to being a championship caliber team, fine, bro. Send the fucking prospects. Who cares? You know what I'm saying? But they're not. So it's like, all right, yes, I understand you're trying to build something and all of that. But if you claim that, you know, your pitching system and your pitching coach and all of that has been overhauled, and you have guys you trust to be able to find the gems instead of having to fucking shell out for them, I feel like that's the route you should go.
But that's even more a reason why I wouldn't do this trade. Like,
Yeah, that's the point. That's the point. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
I understand that. I understand your side. Like, I understand why would I do this if we're claiming we have pitching geniuses in the building? Why am I then shelling out for a guy who, while he just came off a really good season, he's not a proven product. Like, we don't know what Jesus Luzardo is. Like, he had a really great year and he showed a lot of promise. He's done it once. We don't know what the guy is.
Right. He's topped 100 innings twice, and one of those years he threw 100 and a third innings. So
Yeah.
it wasn't like he was in the 150s. Like he threw 178 and 2/3 last year. Really good pitcher. Would love to have him. I'm not trading. Like, that's where it's like, just fucking pay Montgomery for all the reasons you just listed. Just pay Montgomery. Done.
Yeah.
Easy.
And shit, I'm not the biggest Jordan Montgomery fan on earth. I think he's a good pitcher. I think the overvalue of him the minute he got traded from the Yankees is ridiculous, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah, what I saw the Yankees were interested in Luzardo. I'm like, guys, first of all, you're not going to pay Luzardo prices. I don't think anybody is, quite frankly. I think the Red Sox are a legitimate threat to. I think other teams are threats to. I don't think anybody's paying that for what is a limited, relatively speaking, sample size. So I don't think anybody's paying that. And the Yankees are damn sure not paying that. You, granted, like we make our jokes about the Soto package, but you traded like 4 pitchers in that package. Like,
Right,
you're not
yeah.
then going to turn around and trade more from your farm system to get Luzardo and then leave yourself damn near barren. You're not going to do that.
I saw a Bleacher Report was kicking around some fake trades, and this is where people got really upset. Because I don't know what's going on with Bleacher Report's baseball, but every time I see it, there's something wild. They're the king of wild baseball takes right now.
Yes.
They posted something on BR Walkoff. Can you see any of these trades happening? Which is a very funny caption for the first slide being realistic MLB trades that could happen. The very first one that they posted was the Rangers take Kenley Jansen off the Red Sox hands. Rangers get Kenley Jansen in cash. Red Sox get Jack Leiter. Jack Leiter, his season was ended early this year because he was just like, I fucking hate baseball. And he's struggled since he got drafted out of Vanderbilt. I know he was a top 5 pick in the same draft as Meyer. Might have even been like the 3 pick now that I think about it. But this is kind of what just happened with Scherzer for Louis Angel Acuna. They sent cash. They sent a pitcher. They got back a top 5 prospect in that team's organization. This is a closer with 1 year left on his deal for still someone who I believe is in their top 7 or 8 prospects, probably still in the top 5 since they traded for other players. I just don't know that they're going to be willing to give up that much. I think if like the cash is substantial, if they're paying his whole salary, then maybe. But if you're the Red Sox, why are you doing that? If the whole point of trading Kenley is to open up more money and get further under the CBT, like it doesn't make sense for really either.
Why would anybody do that in January? Like, if we're talking about like by the deadline and the Rangers are scuffling in the bullpen or whatever it is, at least I could squint hard enough to understand why they would want to do it. And let's say Jack Leiter continues to struggle, and you're just like, they're just like, all right,
why
let's
would the
wipe
Red
our
Sox
hands.
want to do
I mean, maybe they think they could fix him.
I think that thought process happens going into spring training. I don't know if that's the thought process at the deadline.
Fair. But like, I could at least squint hard enough to understand why you would do that at the deadline. Now, the Red Sox side of things kind of makes that a little wonky. I understand the Rangers side if it's more at the deadline than now. Why are they going out of their way to trade for Kenley Jansen in January? They don't have to.
I don't think it's insane that they would be a Kenley target.
No, not for that. Not for that package though.
Sure,
Like you're just gonna give up less.
sure, yeah. I mean, I think the player, the major league player to the major league team makes sense here.
Yes.
I think Kenley's owed 16. The most I'm willing to pay someone to take Kenley is like $6 million. Like get 10 million off my books. Like Josh Hader came out and his agents, representatives, whoever said he wants to reset the closer market, get more than Diaz. I bet he does. Like me too.
If Josh Hader gets $105 million, I will write his contract down on paper, print it out, and eat it. If he gets $105 million, clip that if you need to. $105 million? Fuck out of here, dog. What are we talking about? Like, yes, Edwin Diaz got 102. He shouldn't have got that either. All due respect. No. Great player, great closer, love him. But $102 million for a reliever is insane. And paying more than that would be even wilder. Especially if you're not Steve Cohen.
Right. I think it'd be worse to break it. I didn't hate Edwin's at the time. I still don't necessarily hate it. This would be bad. And the Rangers were a team that were targeting him. And if he's like, I need over $20 million a year, I could see where they're just like, we'll just take Kenley for a year. We're fine with that.
Right. And then if he stinks, like you could handle that accordingly. Just cut him, let him walk, whatever it is. You don't have to go down the fucking river with the guy.
The Blue Jays make a splash with Willy Adames. Blue Jays get Willy Adames. Brewers get third base / shortstop. Orelvis Martinez. Not going to pretend like I know a lot about Orelvis Martinez.
Listen, for prospects, you could point to me. My fantasy baseball background is very degenerative, so you could point to me. Orelvis is big power, lots of whiff.
Okay.
That's what he is.
So he's Willy Adames.
That's exactly the type of swing a team like the Brewers is supposed to take. I don't know how many years Willie has left under control.
One.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's exactly the kind of swing that the Brewers should be taking. So, and you said it was Orelvis and who?
No, nobody.
Just Orelvis. Okay. I like that swing for them.
The Cubs and Guardians.
And also, if we're gonna do that, can y'all just rip the Band-Aid off and trade everybody else too?
Like, we'll get to that. There's another one that they have in here, and it involves your team. The Cubs and Guardians do a Bieber for Morel swap. Cubs get Shane Bieber, Trevor Stephan. Guardians get Christopher Morel. That feels like if that's all the Guardians get, and I know we've talked about Christopher Morel's trade value on here before, if that's all the Guardians get, they have completely botched this entire Shane Bieber trade market, like from get-go. This should have happened 2 years ago.
Yeah, I agree. I don't, given that the Guardians have basically been playing to try and be the skinniest fat person, which is the equivalent of winning the the AL Central. They should have traded him a while ago for all of that. Because you could have aimed for 84 wins without him too. Like that's what they've been trying to do. Like, so you could have aimed for 85 wins and your first round loss without Shane Bieber. So yeah, if that's all, and I like Morel as a player. Sure. But if that's all you get, like, what were we really doing? And quite frankly, honestly, I think they'd get less if they trade Bieber. Personally,
they may. It's not crazy
less if they trade him.
It's not crazy. Yeah, I shouldn't have. It wasn't just a knock on Morel. It was more a knock on how the Cleveland handled this. Yeah, like they
should not have waited till he was on his last year of team control to get him out of there.
And looking in the same division, the White Sox should not botch this Cease thing. Like if the Orioles are really calling, and that's who they Bleacher Report has him going to, just go. Wait it out in like another month. Best package they have, take it. Like, just take it, because you're going to get less unless you magically get a Luis Castillo offer in the middle of the season, and that really doesn't happen all that often. Orioles get Dylan Cease. White Sox get Heston Kjerstad, Samuel Basallo, and Connor Norby.
I like that trade. I like that trade for both of them.
Yeah, I don't like, and
I think they might be able to squeeze a little bit more out of them, but I like that trade for both of them.
Well, of course, every Orioles fan's like, can't do that. That's too much. And it's also like, where are these 3 fucking guys going to play? Like, where? Where are they
I mean,
going to
who's
play?
playing first for Baltimore right now?
First, yeah, they could use a first baseman. I think
Yeah.
they putting Mountcastle at first?
Oh yeah, Mountcastle's there. Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah,
like Basayo could take his spot, and
for
then
sure.
Norby, I don't know, dude. Like, I don't know
Yeah,
where they're gonna play him. Like, they have Gunner. Who else? They have Jackson Holiday waiting in the wings,
they
and
sure
who's their
do.
second baseman? Why can't
Who's
I
their
remember who
fucking
their second
second
baseman
baseman?
is? Like, they played Jordan Westberg there last year. They brought him up.
Westberg.
They
They
played
brought up
him.
Westberg. Did they shift Mateo over there too?
They might have.
The
No,
Orioles have
Mateo's playing short. They have a lot of fucking infielders, man. And
they've got a lot of
they have a
everything.
lot of they have a lot of fucking infielders, and
That was my
yeah.
point. They have a lot of everything.
Yeah, like like, if the Orioles are serious and they like Dylan Cease enough, they will probably get him because nobody else can really beat their like. And the thing is, they don't even have to make an A offer. Like,
No,
what,
no.
given what they have and given what relation to that, they don't even have to make an A. Or they could make a B offer and get him easily too.
Correct. That's where it's like just get it done. The White Sox need to look at what Cleveland's and how they've handled Bieber and be like, we can't do that here.
Because on top of it's like, what are the chances you re-sign him anyway? A, you're cheap. B, why
Right.
the fuck would he want to come back?
No. The Yankees get Corbin Burnes for Everson Pereira, Chase Hampton, and Oswaldo Cabrera.
Can't do it. Not trading Chase Hampton. Can't do it. Can't do it. Chase Hampton is that guy. No, you do that and you wish Chase Hampton the best, obviously.
I mean, these guys stink. We know Oswaldo Cabrera stinks. Pereira may be fine. Chase Hampton's the biggest long relief name I've ever heard.
To be fair, Oswaldo can play like 6 positions. To be fair,
so can IKF.
some people think IKF's not a bad baseball player.
It's the same picture.
So some people, except he could actually play the positions. IKF is just they put him there. There's a difference.
The Mariners get Jorge Polanco, Max Kepler, and Cash. The Twins get Brian Wu. I feel like Max Kepler's been in fake trades for 19
Oh, buddy.
most of them have been to the Yankees.
Bro, Max Kepler is like the Miles Turner of baseball. This is the same shit, bro. Max Kepler's been in trade offers for like 5 years straight. Just
every year.
Max Kepler. It's like, can y'all just trade him already so we don't have to hear his name every single offseason, every single trade deadline, every year? Every year.
Polanco is a guy I was super interested in until we got the best second baseman in the league. So I wish him well wherever he goes.
The Red Sox employ Jose Altuve?
I mean, come on, what year is it? Altuve is washed. He's over the hill. He's old news. He's old hat. He's yesterday's
Who's the
paper.
second baseman that they acquired that's the best in the league?
Vaughn Grissom. It's the future, the present.
It's Grissom.
The past.
It's Grissom.
It's not.
It's Grissom.
The Marlins get Jonathan India. Reds get Edward Cabrera.
Reds win that going away.
Huh?
The Reds win that going away.
For sure. That's where it's like, would I rather trade Marcelo Meyer for Jesus Luzardo, or would I rather just keep throwing names at them for Edward Cabrera?
I'd much rather. Like, if you could get Edward Cabrera for that, like, yeah, please. Edward Cabrera me, please. You get him for that.
So easy. Like, that's where it's like, yeah, Luzardo, good pitcher. Cabrera hasn't shown as much, granted, but that's where it's like, if we have all these pitching geniuses, give me that guy.
Listen, if you could get Edward Cabrera to even like 30 grade command, he legitimately has like a top 25 upside. Like, I don't feel like I'm speaking out of turn. Like, the problem with him is that he legitimately has 0 grade command. Like, he does not know where any of his pitches are going, but they all move like crazy, and he has wild velocity. Like, I was watching him a start of his against the Mets last year, and like I wasn't paying that much attention, but I saw 95 miles an hour on the screen, so I just assumed that was his fastball because 95 miles an hour. I saw a changeup. I'm like, what? And then he threw another one, and who was it? Like, Jeff McNeil missed that shit by like 5 feet. They were like, yeah, 94 changeup. I'm like, he's throwing 94 mile an hour changeups, And then to sum up the Cabrera experience, the next inning he walked like 6 batters and got knocked out of the game. So that's Edward Cabrera for you. But if you can get his command to even like regular bad, he's going to be really good.
It makes me wonder if a guy like Randy Johnson came up today, how often he'd be bouncing between like AAA and the majors just because of his command. Like, and obviously he's one of the greatest pitchers of all time, but and I'm not saying Edward Cabrera's Randy Johnson reincarnate, but Randy Johnson was wild as shit.
He was. He was.
To the point where
if you ask the people who faced him, like it was terrifyingly so.
Right. And I think it was an advantage for him. That way, when he did throw an inside strike by accident, it was like, I know they weren't going to swing at it because they thought it was going to kill them. Cabrera, since the start of 22, for 34 starts, has a 3.73 ERA. And his strikeouts per 9 is 10.1. His strikeout to walk ratio is 1.95, which is huge. he's walking 5 batters per 9. He's keeping the ball in the ballpark, 1 home run per 9. ERA plus 1.16. So that's and it's like, how old is he? He's 25. So him and Luzardo are the same age. Luzardo's obviously more seasoned. But this is a guy who's pitched a similar amount of innings over the last 2 years. That's where it's just like, all right, let me take the swing.
Listen, if you're gonna tell me that Edward Cabrera is just way cheaper, I'm just gonna try to take Edward Cabrera.
Simple. And that's where it's like, yeah, I believe Andrew Bailey and Craig Breslow are smarter than what the Marlins got cooking down there. That would be my hope, at least. And that's where it's like, yeah, if Luzardo is going to be the most expensive, like, give me Rogers, give me Cabrera, give me fucking Sixto Sanchez. Like, I'll take anyone.
All right. I think you're going a little far there, buddy.
Sixto,
drove the car off the cliff.
Has Sixto shown the most out of all these guys? I could argue he might have.
No, he's about to eat himself out of baseball, man. No, he has not shown.
Listen,
no,
it happens to the best of us.
No, man, he is not. Like Jesus Montero, shout out to him.
All right, that's uncalled for.
How is it uncalled for? He ate himself out the league. What you mean?
When you assholes traded Jesus Montero for Michael Pineda, I thought like my world was crashing down. Like I thought Pineda was going to win 12 Cy Youngs in a row. But he was unbelievable.
Like and that ended up being like one of the more insignificant trade wins of my fandom. It was like they won that trade by a mile. Like he was solid. Like Pineda was solid for us, but it was in a very insignificant kind of way. Like, all right, he's a good like 3-4 starter when everybody thought he could be way better than that.
For sure, yeah. I mean, I genuinely thought he was going to be your ace for 10 years. And then he was like weirdly like better at the end of his career. Like still like a 2-3 WAR pitcher for like the Twins.
I believe I believe it was the Twins, right? Yeah, he went to the Twins. He was actually pretty good for a few years. Yeah.
Very peculiar. And it was Pineda was also part of what I always believed to be like one of the low points of the 21st century Red Sox when he went out there. Yeah, he had on like a comical amount of pine tar on his neck. I get it. The people acting like that was some like massive scandal was always just like, dude, he's a fucking pitcher. Like, what do you Of course he has shit on his neck like that. They all do.
That was one of those where I hated everybody involved. like the Red Sox and like people who covered it acting like Michael Pineda did some unforgivable thing on the mound was insane. And then Michael Pineda going out there with his neck a completely different color is insane. His neck was a completely different fucking color. What did you think was going to happen? Like, did you think they were not going to say anything? Like, they were just going to be like, oh, yeah, nah, he just magically got lighter today? Like, it's a different color.
His uncle Sammy Sosa. It happens.
You know what I'm saying? Bro, I noticed that shit long before they busted him for it. I'm like, does he think that nobody's gonna see this? Like, did nobody see this? Like, between and I blame the teammates too and manager. Like, nobody saw him before the game. I know y'all saw him.
it's one of those things that feels like NFL refs, like you call holding on every play. Like you could eject every pitch, especially then, not as much
Oh,
now.
for sure.
They fucking
But
strip.
but at least usually they have some plausible deniability. Like you have none there, none. Like you at least have like, oh, but I only have this amount. Like everybody has this amount. Like no, not everybody doesn't have a complete discolored neck. Like no, not everybody has that shit. You can't deny it. You can't run from it. It's just gotta be all right. They're gonna touch your neck once. They're gonna eject you. You gotta take it.
So fast.
So fast. Like you gotta take it. Like there was no argument. There was no. I respect
No.
that. Well, respect is too strong. I'm appreciative of the fact that he didn't argue because that would be the most insane thing to argue of all time.
There
What are
wasn't
you
much
arguing?
to argue, yeah.
There was nothing to argue, bro. Like we all saw it. The motherfucker in the last row of the goddamn stadium could see that shit. Everybody saw it, bro.
It was brazen to the point where I respected it. I was like,
It's really funny that he would just go out there like yeah, what are you gonna do about it? Like we're gonna toss you, bro. We're gonna eject you from the
yeah.
game. That's what we're gonna do.
The last trade that Bleacher, they put out 8. This was the 8th. And maybe the one, I won't say I understand the least, but it was the most confusing. It's probably the correct value, weirdly, the most correct value out of all 8. The Red Sox and Giants swap defense for pitching. The Red Sox trade Ceddanne Rafaela and receive Keaton Wynn and Tristan Beck, who are both pitchers. I don't know what to make of that. Are they going to play Rafaela at short? That makes more sense if you're going to trade for him. They just signed a defensive center fielder. They have Haniger and Wright unless they're going to DH him. I don't really understand it, but it feels like and I'm not going to pretend like I can break down both these pitchers, their entire arsenals, and all this shit.
I'm vaguely familiar with when the other dude. God knows.
Yeah.
You got it on that one. But the thing with Rafael is this. Now, I'm not going to make a direct comparison. I'm going to say that he's going to be this guy, but I will say he reminds me of him somewhat when it comes to their minor league profiles. Francisco Lindor was once a relatively light hitting, free swinging defensive first shortstop. I'm not saying that Rafael is going to be that. What I am saying is I'm not trading him for that shit. Is what I'm saying. I'm not trading him for that shit. Is all I'm saying. I'm going to let it play out how it plays out. If like we've won a year or two, and he's still whatever their gripe is hitting wise with him, and he hasn't put it together. Okay, we're having a different conversation.
Sure.
I'm willing to see it through and let him. And I'm not gonna. It's not gonna stop me. Like if the Marlins wanted him for one of their arms, fine, he could go. Like I'm not.
Right.
I'm not saying all that, but not for Keaton Wynn. No, like no. I'd rather just stick it out and hope that he develops. Now I'm higher on him than most because I see him and I see somebody who's gonna terrorize the Yankees. I might be fucking
Sure.
wrong, but I see somebody who's gonna terrorize the Yankees, and he's a free swinger. And well, the last one of those that y'all have is Rafael Devers. And we saw how that one worked out. Not saying it'll be Devers, but I think they should hold him.
Yeah, I'm not out on Rafaela either. I think the problem the Red Sox run into is like if they were to trade anyone that they would be comfortable trading, he's right there along with Nick York. You know what I mean? That's where it's like
Sure.
I understand putting them, and that's also where if I'm other teams, I also understand wanting more. Because if it's like, all right, if you're comfortable trading these guys, there must be something wrong with them that we're just not seeing. You know what I mean? Like, why so freely put them? And they may not be. This is all fan speculation. We have no idea what's been offered anywhere. But I'm sure it's not super far off either. Keaton Wynn both these guys were rookies last year, 25 and 27-year-old rookies. So if you're making that trade, that's all on Andrew Bailey being like, trust me, they are
right. And
way.
shit, maybe he'd be right. If that's
Maybe.
the route that they want to go, maybe they're right. I would rather just hold on to him than trade him for that. But because I feel like you can find Keaton Wins anywhere.
For sure. Yeah. And Tristan Beck, I mean, again, I'm sure they're nice guys.
Like Rafael at a minimum, like if you play him regularly or every day or whatever, like he's one of the best defensive players in the sport at a minimum.
So quick.
At a minimum. So like I'd rather just if he could become a 105 WRC plus kind of bat, like you got a very, very good player.
Yeah, that's where like even as I look at projections for the current Red Sox, especially in the wake of the Chris Sale trade, the other side of it, of course, is they get Vaughn Grissom. I'll never call him Grissom. They get Vaughn in the building, and it's like, all right, we have a second baseman. The discussion about his defense is so irrelevant to me. Like everyone who's actually watched him has been like, yeah, he was overtaxed at short. Clearly a second baseman where he'll be fine. Like he will absolutely be fine. He's not going to be some
and nobody got him for his glove anyway. Like he's a good hitting prospect. That's what he is.
Right. And at second, like he'll be fine. Not everyone has to be fucking Pedroia. Obviously, that's why part of the reason he won MVP. Whether or not he won MVP, I'm not ever going to get into. He won. With Vaughn, it's like, all right, you've got your second baseman locked down. Story's healthy. Devers is at third. Casas at first. Your infield's locked. Like you're good.
Mm-hmm.
Yoshida looks like he's moving the DH, which I have no problem with. I assume that was part of how they signed him. They told him that would be his transition. How he wore down last year, if he's just a DH, I have zero doubts he's the type of guy who can be focused on an at-bat, every at-bat. He is a professional hitter, fine with it. Now all these outfield projections I see, while your Abreu's just been handed a job, he looked great last year when we acquired him from the Astros. He was like their number 27 prospect. What does that mean? Nothing. They're just numbers. They're wrong all the time. Plenty of guys become regulars, everyday MLB players all the time and produce. This idea that he's like leapfrog Rafaela, Tyler O'Neill they traded for. Obviously, he's going to be playing. He's the best player in the sport. And then
is he even the best O'Neill in the sport?
Paul?
Tyler.
Who? O'Neill Cruz? Who are we talking?
O'Neill Cruz, yeah.
Is O'Neill Cruz going to play?
Yes.
Okay, then O'Neill Cruz is clearly better.
I'm glad you conceded. Thank you.
Duran also just handed center field. Like O'Neill to me is the only guy who should be locked in because you just traded for him and he's had the highest peak out of all these guys.
So would they be playing O'Neill left or center?
I've seen him in left, which feels like a waste.
That feels like a waste of his abilities. Like
very big waste. Like you got to put him in. And these are again projections from like writers and fans.
Right.
These are not like Cora hasn't written this out unless they're trying to like make like if O'Neill's biggest question is his durability, you want him in left because it's less work.
Okay, but he's an elite fielder. You put him in left field, like then what are we doing?
Doesn't make any sense.
That doesn't make any fucking sense. So
doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I would put him in right and just be done with that. Like you traded Verdugo, right field opened up, you put him in right.
Right. And
Abreu's not a bad
in center.
Yeah, Abreu's not. Duran seems to be like the left fielder out of those three. But then Rafael is still the best defender out of the four. Yeah. That's where it's like I don't understand.
I'm putting him in center and calling it a day. Personally.
So easily.
I'm putting him in center just being like, all right, man, go run around. We will deal with your hitting because we don't have to talk to you about fielding. Like at all. Just go play. Enjoy. Like we will talk to you about the hitting and we'll work on that shit. We'll try and get you right. I just put him in center.
Yeah, it's one of those things.
But I hope Tyler O'Neill plays left. Please play him at left. Go ahead.
It's one of those things where I'm either playing him in center or I'm trading him. Like I'm not stashing it. If you put him in AAA, the only thing that can happen, truly the only thing that can happen is his value goes down. His value will not go up. Rafaela's. It is at its peak right now. Him raking in AAA is not going to make his value go up at an inch. It can only go down if he goes down to AAA and doesn't hit, which is the biggest fear everyone has.
Right.
So that's where it's like you either trade him now or he's your opening day center fielder. And that's not a knock on Duran by any stretch, but it's like we see this guy's defense. The biggest problem with the team was defense.
And just put Gerrit in left. That's it.
Yeah, have him and Abreu duke it out. Like I don't really understand the knock on Rafaela really at all.
Like unless you just think he can't hit, and nothing really says that. Like, yes, he's a wildly aggressive hitter. I understand that. And they're probably going to be growing pains. I understand that too. But if you think he has any type of long term viability, you might as well go play him, especially because, like, yes, it's a long off season, and teams outplay their projections all the time. The Red Sox are not fucking projected to be nobody's contender.
No,
They're not. So just like you play Rafaela out there in center and see what happens.
yeah, and I don't know what's going to happen with their free agency. They're still linked to Teoscar Hernandez, who.
Oh my god, I can't believe he has a. I totally forgot he existed for some reason until you just said his name again. I cannot believe he hasn't signed yet, given all that fucking noise about it like a week and a half ago.
The only players who are signing are Asian relievers with the Padres. They got the number one closer out of Japan, and then they went out and got the number one closer out of South Korea, who I saw his name pop up on a free agency list last week. And I was like, I'm embarrassed I haven't devoted the entire offseason to this guy because boy, oh boy, what a name. What an all-time name to just pop up in baseball. And I want to read it because I don't want to get it out of order. Because Woo Suck Go. There's no chance this guy's like 0% chance this guy stinks. If he stinks, he's gonna have to flee the country because like go suck elsewhere. Like there's too much just sitting there.
Go suck elsewhere.
Go suck over there, pal. You can't I saw this happening this weekend with the college football playoff. More people are watching college because it's the Final Four. That's just how every sport works. And everyone's like, you know how good you have to be to have your last name be so close to penis and no one brings it up? Like that's the Albert Pujols conundrum. Like his last name was Pujols. No one brought it up ever.
Okay, he was so cold.
He was unbelievable. They're like, what are you going to say? Like he's too good to make fun of his preposterous last name. If Woo Suck Go is bad, the name gets brought up. That's how it works. If he's nice, people are going to have fun with it, and it's going to be a great thing. If he's bad, yeah, you got to go suck elsewhere, pal. I can't.
Like, what's funny about his name is, like, you could put all three of those in any order and get humor out of it. Like, all of them. You can put it in any order you want. Like, go suck Woo, go Woo suck. Like, any order you want, you could put it in, and all of them are funny. Like, all of them are fun. He better be good. Because if he's not, we're going to have a great time. If he's not, we're going to have a great fucking time.
Listen, I saw this elsewhere. He's married to Young Ho Lee's sister.
Woo Go Suck and Young Ho Lee.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They're technically related. No blood.
That says what it needs to say, man. I don't have a lot to add. Yeah, Young Ho Lee and Woo Go Suck. Yeah, man.
The Padres are all in. They replaced Hader, no problem. They were like, we'll go international with it. We really don't care.
We'll sign 7 dudes for Hader's money. We'll sign 7 of them. Like, you want $20 million a year? All right, fine. Watch this. We're gonna sign 6 dudes for that. Watch us.
Honestly, that's exactly what they did because neither of those contracts were preposterous, and I understand.
It was like 2 years for $4.5 million. Was it not?
I can't remember his deal. But the other guy was like 5 for 20, 5 for 25. Yes. So that's where it's just like, yeah, one of them will be fine. And the other guy will be a 7th or 8th inning guy. Like we're fine with it. Great. Next.
And if they both stink, it's not even costly.
Right.
Who cares? All right, man. We took a $7 million shot on 2 people. All right, they suck. They suck.
We don't pay our players anyways. Not a problem.
Like, haven't you seen us this offseason? Like, every report is how broke we are. We mean that shit.
Yeah. Yeah. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, the Teoscar stuff. Everything that's coming out of Boston, Cotillo reported on it even after the trade. It was just like the Red Sox are still trying to shed salary. I think right now they're like $40 to $50 million below the CBT. Like, what are we doing?
Yo, when did the Red Sox start operating like this, man?
2019. After they signed Sale to and it's not his fault. Like, I don't take any glee in this. Like, people take glee in Carl Crawford's contract. It's like one of the worst, if not the singular worst deals the Red Sox have ever given out.
What were the terms again?
5 for 150 with a year left. And it was just like, what?
You got it. That wins, bro. Yeah.
What were you afraid of?
That ended up terribly. Yes, correct.
Crawford's was like 7 for 160 or something like that.
Like, didn't they sign Crawford and like Adrian Gonzalez around the same time, or am I making that up?
Yeah, they signed Crawford and traded for Adrian Gonzalez the same offseason. Like, we're never going to lose again. It appears. And the worst part about that offseason, and I yelled about it at the time, so I don't want to hear anyone, it's easy to say 12 years later. No. I yelled about it at real time. They let Adrian Beltre walk that same offseason. You talk about like looking at someone else's grass and being like, you know what, way greener. We don't want the green we have here. Beltre should have never played for another team. Ever.
I always forget that he played for Boston. I always forget that he played
fucking raked. He was there for 1 year. It was the most obvious. Like, he went from the Dodgers, got a big contract, and I'm sure big is relative to the time. I'm sure it was like $50 million over 4 years. Got a big contract from the Mariners, who had their fences 700 feet away from home plate. People were like, oh, he's bad, which was never true. He came to Fenway, immediately raked again because our wall's 300 feet from home plate.
Yeah.
And he was playing a Gold Glove third base. That move also moved you to first permanently, which he was going to be like, he was an MVP candidate at first. And then you trade for Adrian Gonzalez. You move an older than 30-year-old Uke back to third, where you know he's going to dive even when the ball's not even hit to him. And he breaks down from there. Like, it was one of the dumber trading for Adrian Gonzalez. They didn't give up anybody in the trade. Like, it. Shout out Casey Kelly. Love you to death. Didn't pan out for them. But it was just like, you didn't need to do that. If they had just signed Kyle Crawford and re-signed Adrian Beltre, would the Crawford contract have magically worked out? No, of course not. But you still have Adrian Beltre. Adrian Gonzalez was gone at the same time as Kyle Crawford. Like, it was a horrid move. Didn't cost them too much. They were in the World Series 2 years later. But still, like, Adrian Beltre should have been on that 2013 and 18 team.
When did he retire?
Wasn't it like 19 or 20?
Yeah.
Well, he's on the ballot this year. So was that 18?
Yeah, he retired in 18.
Yeah, 18 was his last year. He should have been on the 18 team.
I mean, you have Devers, man. You're all right.
Who else would have been better to help guide Rafael Devers than Adrian Beltre, a guy who came up, struggled defensively, which is shocking to hear all these years later, and just hit the piss out of the ball. Who else would have been better for that guy?
Touche. Fair.
Yeah, that's all. Adrian Beltre's year in Boston, his first All-Star appearance. He led the league in home runs.
Wasn't that like 8 years in?
No, he debuted in 98. This was 2010.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
He led the league in home runs in 04. Second in MVP. Didn't make the All-Star game.
He must have had a hellacious second half of the year.
Had to have, yeah. I mean, he played 156 games, so I don't think he, 10-17 OPS that year. He couldn't have been too bad in the first half.
Fair. How didn't he make the All-Star game? Yeah, I don't know, dude.
But 2010, led the league in doubles, 141 OPS plus, just quick scan, third highest of his career. Ninth in MVP, All-Star Silver Slugger. Not a Gold Glove. I'll never understand. But 919 OPS. I can't pick a person with a better, outside of like Manny, I can't think of someone else who wore a Red Sox uniform who had a better swing made for Fenway Park, and the Red Sox were like, you're 31, dude. You're probably done in a couple of years.
I can't believe they had him for 1 year and watched him put up a 141 OPS plus, and we're like, no, we don't want this.
The contract he got from Texas wasn't crazy either.
Bro, he had a 141 OPS plus, and they were just like, no, we don't want this, man. We straight.
The Rangers paid him 14, 15, 16, 17, 16. That had to have been the entirety of that contract because then it's 18, 18, 18 for the last 3 years. So I don't know. I think it was
How
like
many
9.
Gold Gloves did Beltre win?
Less than he should have.
I want to make myself mad, so I'm just gonna look that up. How many?
Well, I'll start with this. He had 2 platinum gloves. So how many Gold Gloves do you think he had?
He had 5 total.
5 total.
Which, okay, I don't. All right, all right, man.
They said he was the best glove in baseball twice, but only 3 other times, because I assume he won Gold Gloves when he won platinum gloves as well. So only 3 other seasons was he good and the best third baseman in the AL. Not even Arenado. He wasn't dealing with Arenado. None of that. It was just the AL.
Just the AL, and they only gave him 5, and he played for like what 18 years.
21.
So, oh man, Gold Gloves just man. Yeah, man.
He led the league in hits in 2013. No All-Star game.
Dude.
He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He has 6 top 10 MVP finishes, 4 All-Star appearances.
That doesn't make any fucking sense, man. And I want to say, because we discussed Juan Gonzalez's MVPs on this show, I want to say Juan Gonzalez didn't make the All-Star game one of the years he won the MVP. I could be bullshitting on that one. I'm pretty sure that happened.
Yeah.
And baseball voters, man, you gotta love them.
Yeah, I mean, this is tough. This is so stupid.
Like, he played 20 years. You're telling me he was the best defender in the sport for 2 of them. And then you're going to tell me the other 19? He was worthy of 3 Gold Gloves. Where does this logic track? Where?
It's I mean, these Seattle years are like, he wasn't as bad as I even remember. He was still hitting 25, 26, 25 home runs.
He was just very average because that park was fucking cavernous.
Yeah, the park sucked. Like,
the park was like cavernous, bro. So yeah, he was just average. And then the minute he got out of there, he started going crazy. The instant he got out of Seattle, I was like, oh my God, I'm free. He started going crazy.
Yeah, the Red Sox got him for 1 year, $9 million. I can't imagine they've spent $9 million better ever. Like, genuinely ever.
Probably not, I'd assume.
Yeah, that'll always upset me. He should have been a Red Sox the rest of his career. 2 rings, all that. Nope. Just nope. We're all set.
Nah, man. He got out of Seattle and put up 141 OPS plus, 131, 139, 138, 144 for the next 5 years. He went fucking crazy the minute he left Safeco. Jesus. Safeco is I think they've moved the walls in since, but man, that park at that point was such a killjoy for hitters.
I mean, I feel like a lot of parks were. I know the Mets were constantly moving it in, trying to help David Wright's numbers. The Orioles are constantly moving their walls.
And then you have the fucking Orioles who are like, nope, we're going to move our shit back, bitch.
Well, they did. I feel, and people can correct me, but I feel like they did bring them in and then move them back, if I remember correctly.
I don't think they ever moved them in, man.
I thought they might have, like Melvin Mora did.
Their field was always home run happy. I don't think they ever moved them in. I could be wrong on that, but I don't remember them ever moving in. I just remember Gleyber Torres hitting 27 home runs in Camden every year, and they're like, all right, man, enough of this shit. And then they move the fucking walls back.
The Padres used to have a cavernous fucking park too. They moved that shit way
for sure. And quiet as kept, it's still wildly pitcher friendly.
Yeah.
Like Juan Soto's numbers in Petco sucked this past year. Like he was like a 750 OPS guy. Like, and I know that 750 is relative, sucked for him. And then you look at his roll numbers, like, oh, that's the Juan Soto I fucking know. Like the home numbers were not great.
Well, I mean, he's not that good, is what I'm hearing.
I mean, lies don't care who tell them. Because you just told me that Tyler O'Neill's the best O'Neill in the sport. So
I say the best player in the sport. That's what
I was trying to give you a pass for that. I was focusing on the more believable lie,
He might be. We don't know. The season hasn't been played yet. We'll see.
We'll see what. What do we go see that we haven't already seen from Tyler O'Neill? And I like Tyler O'Neill, but what are we going to see from Tyler O'Neill we haven't seen?
Jesus Luzardo could be an ace, but Tyler O'Neill can't be the best player in the league. I find that peculiar.
Why would you, actually?
They feel like the same take to me.
Listen, no, because being an ace, you got to be better than. Being the best player in baseball, you got to be better than everybody. Being an ace, you could be the 14th best pitcher in baseball. Being an ace, you could be the 20th best pitcher in baseball. Being an ace.
I don't know that just because your team's number one means
no. I'm talking about ace caliber pitcher. Fuck who's one is this and who's one. I think in a given at any given time you could have like 15 legitimate aces.
Sure. I don't know if that's the average, but I think you could, yeah.
Yeah. He could be one of them. It could be a golden year for pitching, and he could be the 14th best pitcher in baseball and be an ace still. Whereas Tyler O'Neill, there's nowhere we're going to live where he's the best player in baseball. Knock that shit off.
I mean, you
could argue unless like 100 people suffer season-ending injuries, like there's no way. Or retire, like there's no way.
Guys retire every year.
That's true. Like 8 players off the Yankees would have to retire for this to be even remotely possible.
All right. I mean, we're talking about what the Red Sox have done. The Yankees, they traded for Soto and called it a night.
Thank you for lobbing that one up. This whole the Yankees haven't spent any free agent dollars thing that keeps floating around like every like 5 business days. Is that one of them things that's technically true? Yes. It's technically true. They also acquired Juan fucking Soto, guys. Like, what are we doing? They acquired Juan Soto, and it's not like the market's moving fast. Listen, I understand skepticism of, hey, they're gonna trade for Juan Soto and then do nothing else. Why do I understand it? Because they said the same shit last year when they got Rodon. Like, we're gonna keep stacking. We're not done. We're not done. Then they were fucking done. So I get the skepticism there. I'm not trying to tell anybody to view this optimistically. Do you? If you want to view it negatively until they actually prove it, I understand. We have it on record. We have proof that they said all that bullshit last year and then did nothing. Went into the season with fucking Oswaldo Cabrera as a starting left fielder. Like, they did nothing. Fine. But they've spent complaining about them spending no free agent money up until this point when they got Juan Soto and they offered a pitcher $300 million is insane behavior. Can they actually do the misdeeds before we complain about them? That's all I'm asking. If you think negatively, like they're not going to do it, like I understand that. The Yankees' last 2 off seasons have inspired no confidence. Understood. But can they do the misdeeds before we're like, oh, they just called it a day, another bad offseason. It is fucking January 3rd. And the market's not moving fast because Scott Boras got all the fucking clients at the top of the goddamn list with all these warts, and he wants them all to get $200 million. And everybody's like, no, that's why we're here. Everybody's like, no, dog, we're not paying that shit. We're not paying it. Come down like $75 million and we can fucking talk. And Scott has no reason to rush. It's fucking January 3rd. So here we are.
What is your top 3 rotation right now? Your playoff rotation.
Gerrit Cole, Gerrit Cole, Carlos Rodon, Nestor Cortez.
Pretty good.
Listen, the best case scenario is good. What's the odds of us getting the best case scenario?
I was gonna say
not great. I'm not gonna sit here and put my eggs all in that basket. So yeah, because Nestor got hurt last year. I believe he hurt his shoulder, if I'm not mistaken. That we know how those tend to go.
Sure.
And Carlos Rodon, I am more confident in him than the average person. I'm also a sucker for vicious stuff. So I'm just going to go down with the ship. That's just how I go. Like, guys who could throw baseballs like Carlos Rodon, I'm just going to go down with the ship. If he stinks, I'm going down with it, bro. Like, that's just how this is going to go. I don't think it's possible for him to be that bad again. Now, guys have proven me very wrong. And that it's not possible for it to be that bad discussion, but I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be good. He was a top 10 pitcher for 2 years before he got the bag. So like I think he'll settle in like a top 20 arm, and then we'll go from there.
So the only guy I can think of that Rodon even compares to a little is John Lackey, in the sense that he established himself early, and Lackey even, you could argue, established himself more than Rodon did before he got the big contract. Lackey came to Boston his first 2 years and was as bad as Rodon was last year. Rodon, what was his ERA last year? 6.85.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe the worst ever for a guy who pitched as much as he did. Like, not good. Yeah. Lackey his first year, 14-11, 4.40. Not nearly as bad, but no one was happy with that, including Lackey. But nobody was happy. And then in 2011, even worse. He went 12-12. No idea how he went 12-12. With a 6.41. Yeah, led the league in earned runs, which is bad. Also led the league in hit by pitch, which is not
bad combo.
And then he didn't pitch in 2012. He was out the whole year with an injury. And then he came back in 2013. And this is like the perfect test to see if you care about win-loss record for a pitcher, because he went 10-3, but he had a 3.52 and was nails in the playoffs that year. That was obviously a team that won the World Series. But that was year 4 of a 5-year deal. You know what I mean? Can Yankee fans sit?
No.
And wait.
I'm not gonna let you finish. No. Can they sit and wait around for 3? No.
For a 3.52 too, not even for like 2.11. You know what I mean? Not like even elite ace stuff. But for like
3, I think 3.52 this era is different than 3.52 then.
Sure.
So like, I mean, well, at the same time, like if he stinks for 3 years, nobody's gonna care about 3.5. So at the same time, like that's also true. Like to get back into good graces, you got to do some pre bag stuff, like 2.6, 2.7. If you're gonna suck for 3 years, if he comes out, he has a 3.5 this year, all is forgotten. Like we don't care about year 1 anymore. All is forgotten. But if he stinks for 3 years, like yo, you better do something real good year 4, buddy. Like real good.
In 21 and 22, Rodon 310 innings, 27 and 13, 2.67 ERA over 55 starts. I wanted to sign him mostly because we didn't pick up the fucking phone for Kevin Gausman, who continues to be the best deal in baseball. And last year, quick 3-8, 6.85 ERA. Was his ERA plus 63. So this is, I don't know what to expect.
Nobody does.
You're really just guessing. He's been elite. He was elite with the White Sox, so it's not even like you can just point to the Giants and be like, oh, he was only elite with them. If both of those years were with the Giants, that's exactly what I would say, because it would be true. But that isn't the case. That's not the case at all. He was elite with the White Sox in 2021. 2022, he was elite with the Giants. 2023, he was objectively the worst pitcher in baseball. K per 9 was down from 12 to 9, and it was 12.6 the year before. So I don't know. I don't know what to expect, but that's also where it's like, yeah, if I'm a Yankee fan right now, and I thank the Lord I'm not, but if I were a Yankee fan right now, I would be like, we need more stability than this. Like this being our projected number 2, really projected 1A more than even just number 2.
1B.
Sure, 1B. Yeah, well, yeah, I was giving Cole 1 and him 1A.
Oh, you were giving Cole credit. Oh, I'm sorry.
Objectively correct. Like I'm not an asshole. Like who would I rather pitch for me in the playoffs? Like this year, Gerrit Cole or Babe Ruth? I'm picking the corpse, no question. Like no doubt in my mind.
All right, I feel like that LeBron gif where he gets up out the meeting with the bag. Yeah,
for regular season, Cole. I've never said anything about regular season Cole. He deals. Postseason Cole, big game Cole. That guy fucking stinks. Regular season,
But
yeah,
he doesn't. All right. Okay.
He doesn't show up.
He does not. That's not true. Like, you're projecting based off one fucking start. One start. Yeah, he got murdered in Fenway. Okay, bro. Understood. Andrew Velasquez was starting a short that day. There's only so much I'm going to give a fuck about that person.
What does that have to do with him?
I didn't say it. I didn't say it had anything to do. I already said he stunk. I'm just saying I've wiped that shit from my hard drive. I don't give a fuck about it because Andrew Velasquez was starting that short. That was a very unserious team.
Bro,
yes, Cole stunk. Cole stunk for one playoff start, and that's somehow his whole legacy in your mind is that start. How does that work?
we beat him when he was on the Astros too. This has nothing to do with the Yankees.
Bullshit.
Even when he was cheating with the Astros, we walked through him, no problem.
Yeah, yes, Cole has not pitched that great against Boston. Generally
in the playoffs, yeah,
in the regular season too.
Well, I mean, don't give me more ammo.
But he's consistent. Like, he's consistently.
You're supposed to tell me this fucking sob story about Andrew Velasquez, who Yankee fans were treating like Giants fans have treated Tommy DeVito. I'm supposed to hear this sob story about Andrew Velasquez, but I'm supposed to give him credit for beating the fucking Guardians. That's not how this works. I'm supposed to give Gerrit Cole shows up because he pitched.
I didn't say nothing about. I didn't say nothing about. I was not trying to make an excuse or give a sob story. I was trying to slander that team. That's what I was going for here. Because I was saying that they're unserious. They were starting that.
I watched that game with Yankee fans. They thought it was over when Stanton hit that goddamn single.
Yeah, John Sterling, man, you gotta hang it up, man. I'm sorry. Like, love you. You gotta retire, dog. Like, it took. Like, the wildest part isn't even the fact that he did the whole high and far. Like, it looked like a home run off the bat, man. I give you that. That brother took like 10 minutes to realize it wasn't one, though. Like, that's the problem. And then he said, "What did I miss?" The fact that it didn't leave the park. That's what you missed, John. It didn't leave the park. That's what you missed. What did I miss? Like, standing at first. It was a single. That's why he's standing at first. What you mean?
I've watched that clip so many times. He goes, now what happened? What what did I do wrong? Like, he thought it was his fault. He's like, did I knock it down from, like, did it go so far around the world that it left the park, entered orbit, and then re-entered for a single? Is that what happened?
That man said, "What happened?" Like, I'm like, standing on first. What happened? Like, bro, the ball didn't leave the park. That's what happened.
And what all that tells me is when he goes into a home run call, he's like fucking Ray Charles tickling the eyes. He's like, hey, way back, like, eyes just shut the second on contact. He's just like, oh, I don't have to see.
I don't have to see. I heard that shit. I don't have to see nothing.
So yeah, I don't want this revisionist history. The Yankees had no chance in that game.
I didn't say any of that. I just said that them boys were starting Andrew Velasquez as shortstop. It was a deeply unserious team. That's all I'm saying. They were deeply unserious. And also, while we're here, I want you to guess what Gerrit Cole's playoff ERA is.
I'm sure it's like 3.1, something perfectly fine. It's probably lower than that.
2.93.
Yeah.
So what is this choke bullshit that you be talking about, man?
What is it in closeout games? Because I'm sure it stinks.
How many closeout games has he even pitched?
I know one.
Genuine question. Fair. Touche. Touche. How many elimination games has he pitched in total?
Listen, I think that's another red mark on him too. Why is this guy so afraid of the big moment?
He had the team has to get him to the closeout games. You understand this?
It would help if he was better in earlier games. Did he pitch against Cleveland to close out that series? I'm pretty sure he did.
He did not.
No, that was
an elimination game.
That was
they were
the game.
Down 2-1. They were down 1-2. Excuse me.
That was a game Stanton won them the game in the first inning, and then Judge came through later, hit a home run, and everyone was like, here comes Judge showing up in an elimination game. And I was like, if you don't get the fuck out of my face.
My how did you manage to turn that into, now we're going to slander 99?
Because you have a lot of slanderable players, and Judge truly doesn't show up in the playoffs, and you can't argue that.
Yeah. Like, I saw a piece earlier this offseason where it was like, it was one of them back channels, like people speaking for Aaron Judge, like, oh, Aaron Judge is he thinks the Yankees need to prioritize batting average and RBI more, brother.
Oh,
That pissed me off so bad. Number one, all due respect, Aaron Judge is an amazing baseball player, not taking nothing away from him.
It's my job,
brother. Against the Astros in the playoffs, you running like a 186. I'm not trying to hear from you, dog, and I'm definitely not trying to hear from you talking about no batting average, because we need to prioritize batting average more, brother. Have you taken the time to look in the mirror and look at what your pull up Baseball Reference is free. Look up what your fucking playoff batting average is, and then knock that shit off, please. Like his fucking playoff batting average in total is fucking 211. I imagine against the Astros is even worse than that.
So in 18, going back to Cole, in 18 he diced up Cleveland, and this is when he was with Houston. So you could tell he was going to be a Yankee because he diced up Cleveland.
Oh, brother.
And then in 6 innings, he gives up 4 earned to the Red Sox. It's like, that's where it starts from. It really has nothing to do with him being on the Yankees. That helps. But that's where it starts. You want to act like it's just Yankee slander. It's not. Even when he was cheating and on top of his game, we were still giving it to him. Like, no problem.
Listen, man, the worst thing you could say is that man gave up 4 runs in 6 innings. I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, if you're trying to say this is one of the best pitchers of all time, like, that is one of the worst things.
Who said that?
Most Yankee fans do.
I am not them. They are not me. But I just happen to root for the team. Don't put me with them.
I'm saying I happen to root against the same team they do. This is looking a lot like Joel Embiid has beat Bradley Beal in the Wizards.
All right.
That's what it's looking like.
All right.
Respectfully.
All right.
What are we talking about?
Knock it off. We're not gonna fucking do this.
He had 2 innings against the Red Sox and a winner go home game. Sick, dude. Thanks for coming out.
Knock it. The Joel Embiid is insane. What are you? Knock it off, please. What are we doing? Joel Embiid? I will sit idly by for some Cole slander. I'm not the biggest Gerrit Cole fan on earth. I like the guy as a pitcher. I think he's a bit of a police officer, but that's another topic for another day.
Sure.
He's a big cop, so I'm not like gonna go. I'm not gonna lay on a hill for Gerrit Cole. Understood, fine. But Joel Embiid is where I draw the line. We're not gonna do that. Like at least in between the lines, Gerrit Cole is. I'm not gonna say a likable figure. He's a pitcher. Like there's only so much a pitcher can do to be liked. I guess he does his job and he goes home. The other guy, like. I actively root against him because of how he plays. There's a difference. Like, no, we're not. No, we're not. And say whatever you want about Gerrit Cole, he would never throw a team under the bus. I have a problem with a lot of shit that Gerrit Cole does. Like, he just a cop. But he would never be like, hey, did you see Andrew Velazquez boot those fucking 4 grounders? He would never say that shit, even though he could. He would never say that shit. Joel Embiid, like, y'all saw James Harden go 1 for 9. I ain't do that. Like, you gotta get me some help. It's like, brother, you went 4 for 18. No, we're not gonna compare with Joel Embiid. That's too far. I'm
talking about the league MVP, the reigning MVP. Cole's won a Cy Young. These feel again like the same picture, Your Honor. These feel
Mick. I know you did not just say. First of all, you're really good at this. I gotta give you respect. Because you said that shit with a straight face. I don't know how you did it. I don't know how you pulled it off. You're really good at this shit. Because you said that he's a defending MVP. You said that shit and you didn't even...
It's a fact. It's not hard to say with a straight face.
You and I know he ain't deserved that shit. You and I know this.
Listen, whether or not... they didn't ask my opinion when the voting was held. If they did, it would have went a different direction. But that's neither here nor there. My opinion on things that have factually happened in the world are irrelevant.
You're unbelievable.
Is he really not the MVP?
He is.
Okay.
He is.
Gerrit Cole.
And Gerrit Cole doesn't have anywhere near as many fucking playoff lowlights as that dude does.
I feel like I just read through a couple of them.
Brother, when the fuck has Joel Embiid beat anybody besides Bradley Beal?
That was my point. That was exactly what I'm saying. I'm seeing a lot of Bradley Beals on this schedule here.
He struck out like 14 and 7 innings against the Rays in what, 2020?
2019.
There was a 2020 started during the pandemic year. That was really good too.
Oh, 14. And that was Cleveland again. Like, this is my point. This is
the 2020 starts. So you have those.
Yes, he had 13 Ks against Cleveland. Whoop-de-fucking-do. He had 8 against Tampa, and then he had 9 against Tampa.
And he was really good against Tampa. Twice.
Yeah, he gave up 4 runs and 11 and a third.
Yeah, he was really good against him twice.
He was really good against him once. One of these games, he gave up 3 runs in 6 innings. That's not like really good. That's okay.
You gotta watch. You gotta depend on the eyes, man. The eye test.
He was okay. Like
we gotta do the eye test, Coley.
He gave up a run per 100 million on his deal. Like that's okay.
Run per 100 million.
Yeah, like that's not what I'm paying for, Bucko. Like the Yankees won 9-3 that game. He could have been even worse, and they still would have been fine. I don't know that I'm giving him credit for that one. Either.
So now his teammates are being used against him. That's crazy.
You were the one who was using him. I didn't bring up his teammates.
That's crazy.
You brought up Velasquez.
I didn't bring up his teammates to prop him up or besmirch his good name. I just said that was a very unserious team
today, other than you.
Correct. Because you know why? Because they made him the team fucking mascot, despite the fact that he wasn't good at baseball. Even though, like,
that's a son of a first responder. I'll have you know. Probably was a first responder on 9/11. Ever heard of it?
We're doing this. Like didn't he have an NYPD chain on all the time? Or am I making
dad was a cop? Yeah,
NYPD chain on. I'm supposed to go to bat for this fella.
This is
what you want me to do? Go to bat for this guy because he's from the Bronx? Like I don't defend everybody from the Bronx. Absolutely not.
Against Washington in the World Series, this is game 1. 5 earned runs.
What are you doing game 5?
He was much better. The series was over by then, but he was much better.
They went up 3-2, genius. What are you talking about?
Clearly it didn't matter because
yeah, it didn't matter because AJ Hinch is a bozo. That's why it didn't fucking matter.
Oh, now Juan Soto's not good enough to get out of a 3-2 deficit. This guy can't stop shitting on his own players. It's unbelievable.
I didn't say that. Thank you. Number 2, AJ Hinch had Big Cole up in the fucking bullpen in the 7th inning of Game 7, and for some reason never brought him in the game.
Oh, come on. If he had done that, honestly, like if he brought him in to face Soto, how do you think that ends? Truthfully, be honest.
I'm not going to put down one of my players. Because either way I put down somebody, I'm not putting down one of my players.
Soto takes him 650 into the night sky. That's of course what happened.
I'm not going to put down one of my players. I believe in both of them.
Listen, one of them signed. I would prop up the guy who only has 1 year left. Personally, that's what I would do.
Listen, I got something planned for Soto, man. Like, I'm currently in the mode of begging him to let me take him around Washington Heights. Yeah, that'll be our first order of business before the season starts.
Yeah, I mean, he lit up the Yankees, which is shocking, in the ALCS. Oh, but they were cheating, of course. Yeah, this is a lot of Bradley Beals in here. That's all I'm saying. That's all I see.
He says this as if we don't have it on record that a team featuring Gerrit Cole with him as their best pitcher made the World Series.
I mean, Lance McCullers was doing some real good work in 2019, so I don't know.
Cole. All right. Cole,
I don't know that we can just...
I called you Cole by accident. Cole Lee, excuse me. All right. Lance McCullers, that's where we want to go with this? Lance fucking McCullers? That's what we doing?
I mean, a guy is dealing. I got to call it how I see it. I don't even know that he was active in 2019. It's same fucking year Verlander goes 21-6. We're just calling someone else the best pitcher on the team.
He was. Cole was better. What are we talking about?
I mean, I'm looking at the numbers now. They quite literally had almost the same exact season.
And Cole was better.
I don't necessarily see a lot to back that up. Like, they pretty much had the same season.
And Cole was better. Like, what do we...
Orlando
who struck out more people?
Cole. Where's strikeouts?
I'll help you. Cole.
300 to 326, but Verlander had the higher
I didn't even realize that. I didn't even realize it was that close, to be honest with you. But
yeah. That's what I mean. They literally had the same season.
Cole struck out 326 people in one season, man.
Happy for him. He should have struck out more. Maybe they would have won the World Series.
he can't put himself in the game.
Okay. If
He comes in that game, it's a
fucking
wrap.
shelled in game 1, they win.
But I mean, he won game 5.
Okay.
Won,
He pitched twice.
Right. And he should have pitched a third time. If he pitched a third time, they might win.
Listen, the evidence points to he was an every other start kind of guy that World Series. I think he gets shelled again.
But, I mean, nobody was asking him to start.
For good reason.
They were asking him to...
We're talking about the Astros, well-run franchise. They've been the best team in baseball.
Man. They were warming him up in the 6th inning, man. Nobody was asking him to fucking start. I don't understand why you warmed him up if you're not bringing him in the game. That I don't like for what. Why?
I bet he was like, maybe if I just start throwing, they'll be like, oh, let's get Gerrit in the game.
Maybe he did. Maybe he did go wrong, man.
Sit your ass down.
Maybe he did. They had him fucking warming up. It was like, all right, so it's the beginning of the 7th. Y'all are up by a run. You're just not going to bring him in. Like you're just going to keep going with whatever the rest of your bullpen is. Like you're not going to bring in your best pitcher, the best pitcher in the sport. You're not going to bring him in. Is he not? Was he not the best pitcher in the sport at that time? Hell, he's the best pitcher in the sport now. What are we talking about?
That was my point. He's coming off the Cy Young.
Yeah, he's the best pitcher in the sport.
Yeah, so that's why Hal's not doing anything.
Hal's not doing anything because nobody else is either. We're gonna keep it a bean.
I hate that because you could do, and this is for everyone. It's not just Hal. You could do stuff like no
sure
problem.
You can, but like overpaying for somebody when you're bidding against air is not exactly smart business either.
Yes and no. It really depends, like what you're getting in return. I'm of the belief, like if you're getting a good player in return, it really doesn't matter what you're paying them if they're playing well. Now, if they stink, yeah, you're overpaying for someone bad. But if you're getting a good player, I don't like. That's where it's like I don't really care.
But it's like if Homeboy is asking for Montgomery to get a 7-year deal, I understand why they're not paying him that. And I don't know what Scott wants, but I'm assuming it's way more than people are comfortable with, considering Bellinger's still out there, Chapman's still out there,
Bellinger I understand more.
Snell's still out there. Like
Bellinger, I understand more than a couple of the other ones, but I also think it's one of those things where like there aren't 6-7 teams bidding on players anymore. It's like 1 or 2 teams, and I think that's where it's like, yeah, without
free agency is broken as a whole, and the thing is like a lot of what. Like the Montgomery Snell thing, and I've seen this from a lot of people, and for the record, I agree with it, but it's also a problem baseball created. They're like, oh, well, these guys are 31. It's like, yeah, because the system is fucked. Like, that's why we're here. Like, yes, the system is fucked. Like, Montgomery got called up at fucking 26. That's not his fault. Well, I mean, technically that could be his fault, but you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying. Like, they got 6 years of team control. Yeah, you blink, they're 31 years old. That's how this works.
Right. Yeah, it is all baseball's fault, as most baseball problems are. Their faults. Like they refuse to get out of their own way. It's like the fucking
Garfield meme. Like it's Garfield and Garfield in the background. I wonder who this is for. Yeah, like that. Right. It's baseball. They created their own fucking issue.
Yeah, and it's terrible if you're a fan.
And one more time, Ozzie Albies signed the worst contract I've ever seen. I know that came out of complete left. One of the worst. I was discussing with somebody yesterday. I was just like, that's the worst contract I've ever seen. And Braves fans, like well, not all of them, but the select few who every single time somebody signs for big money, they pull out the fucking Rolodex of like all the names that signed for like $8 million combined on the Braves. Like you signed Manny Machado for $35 million. Here's 37 people who are making less than that combined. Like who really won here? Like shut up. Like why are you so happy that the players of your team are getting robbed? Why? Ozzie always getting robbed broad daylight every year. Every paycheck he getting robbed. And you happy about this? Stop licking boots, man.
It's the first time I'm happy about it because it allowed us to get Vaughn because they had nowhere else to play him. They were like, listen, we're not going to get rid of Albies. He makes 17 cents an hour.
Who's the Braves shortstop anyway?
Arcia.
Okay, I guess. But he's fine.
Well, it's like I do genuinely think Vaughn becomes less valuable if you're playing him at short. So that's where it's like they were having him play like left in winter ball, and just they were going to try and put him in the corner outfield, and then they traded for Kelnick, and it's just like, okay, we're not going to platoon this kid. Let's dangle him. And they got Sale at what did the Red Sox pay? 17? Is that the number? So they got Sale for like $10 million.
Listen, if Sale stays even remotely healthy, I think everybody's going to be fine with the trade.
Sure.
I think Grissom is going to be pretty good. Like I don't know like how good, but I liked him as a prospect. I think he's in a better park for hitting, if I'm not mistaken. Much better park for hitting.
Everything I've read about Gwinnett is it's like the worst park for AAA hitting, and he's still like he was tearing the cover off the ball, just not power numbers. It's like, yeah, at Fenway, the place he literally hit his first career home run, I think he'll be okay.
Yeah, like I think that trade makes sense for Boston. Personally, I saw people killing it, and I'm just like, are y'all just killing it because the Red Sox did it? Because that's what it feels like. Because it's just all right. Did they pay a lot to do it? I guess it depends on your perspective.
I don't know. I very much view it as they paid $10 million for, or
right, and I mean, people were lauding the Mets for doing the same shit, and I'm not saying this on some like, well, what about ism? I'm just saying that's what happened, and the Red Sox did the same thing on a lower level, but I can't even say on a lower level because I think Grissom is a better prospect than Acuna personally, so I can't even say on a lower level.
Well, it's also we've seen him do it for basically a full season at this level when
right. And the biggest problem with him was his glove, and at second base you care far less about that,
right?
Because with good positioning, he should be all right. Like there shouldn't be an issue there at second, and he can hit, and he can run. But I like it for them. I hate it for me, but I like it for them.
Sure, yeah. It's if the Red Sox had gone into the season depending on Chris Sale, people would have made fun of it. You trade him for a prospect everyone agrees is pretty good, and you make fun of it. That's where it's just
and he has 1 year left on his fucking deal. Sale.
Right.
It's not like they're like, all right, we're just going to eat $80 million over the next 4 years to get a prospect. Like,
sure,
no,
right? Yeah.
Like the Red Sox were never going to re-sign him. That's just how this is. They were never going to re-sign him. They got something for him. What is the problem? Do you think they could have done better than Vaughn Grissom? Because I do not.
No, I can't imagine.
I can't imagine they could do better than Vaughn Grissom. And they're making the best of what is probably less than ideal circumstances. Well, not probably. Less than ideal circumstances.
Well, it's also like, and this only applies to Boston media, it got leaked that there was a team who potentially was going to trade for Chris Sale during last season, and Heim didn't do it. And people killed Heim for not trading him. So now if you do trade him, you can't kill locally. I'm saying you can't kill him for trading him, but you also have to look back and be like, oh, what were they going to trade him for? Because if it wasn't for this return, you have to give him credit for not doing it. I'm not saying like you got to give him.
I agree with you.
But you got more than you were probably going to get during the season for him. Yeah, you're paying $17 million or whatever the fuck it is. Who cares?
That's immaterial. It's for 1 year. It's immaterial.
Yeah, you're still saving money.
Yeah,
I think Vaughn makes like $500 this year. So you basically slash 10 million, which I don't even agree with, but you did it. Like, congrats. Right. So that's where it's like,
and that reminds me, I was really tickled. First of all, Montas signed for 16 mil with the Reds. I was so tickled seeing Yankee fans then complain about that. Oh, that was so funny. That was hilarious to me because it was like the whole offseason, or basically let's say the whole year, the whole last year, because Montas really didn't do shit for the Yankees. Like he never pitched, right? Whole season's like, oh, why did we trade for Montas? 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 He comes back and he pitches. They better not bring back Montas. They better not bring back Montas. They better not. The offseason goes slow. Oh, they're talking about bringing back Montas. I don't know about that. He signed with somebody else. Why didn't we sign Montas? Like, all right, guys. All right. And for $16 million at that, like for 1 year, whatever. And personally, I think we know why the Reds did that shit. They did. Boris is Montas' agent. If I'm not mistaken, Boris represents a couple of their bright young prospects too.
Probably.
Yeah, I mean he represents everybody good, whatever. But you get the point. So it's all right. Here's a little olive branch. We'll pay this dude $5 million more than he really is worth, and just keep us in mind. When Elly is 2 years from now, we're trying to get an extension, or Matt McLean or whoever the fuck he represents there.
Yeah, I don't even know how much of that is. I think that's just what a pitcher costs right now, and I think that's fine.
Listen, I don't really think it's. I mean, it's one thing when you're like Lucas Giolito, where it's just okay. You could sign up for 170 innings out of the dude.
Right.
It might be with a 4.5 ERA, fine. And yes, the pitcher market is. I'm not gonna say it's broken, but it is what it is. Like they value it how they value it. It's. I mean, Montas has to pitch in like 2 years, so it's like
Sure. Yeah.
16 million for that is.
I mean, even
okay.
Severino got what, 12?
Right, and he never pitches.
Right.
Right, but like Montas and Severino, like to me, should have been in the same range. $4 million is whatever. Nobody cares.
Yeah,
But
it's
you know
the
what I
same.
mean.
Yeah,
It's the same. But like we'll give him 16. You scratch our back a little bit when Ellie's up or Matt McLean is up or whoever. I know he represents one of them.
I was gonna say McLean they'll resign. Ellie's
Going.
McLean was technically better this year, but
Yeah.
I hate the people who are like they refuse to like look at the bigger picture. They're just like, well, why are we even gassing Ellie? These other guys are better. It's like,
stupid.
okay.
It's so obvious why we are.
That's
That's why we were gassing Bobby Witt last year. It's the same.
Right.
Like, granted, Ellie is way more electric an athlete. We understand that, but that's the point. Like Bobby Witt, there was some stuff under the hood that was like, okay, he mashes the fucking baseball. He lifts the baseball. He just whiffs a lot. If he fixes that, he should be fine. Voila, he fixed it, then he's fine. I'm not saying Ellie's going to do the same thing. Development's not fucking linear. But at worst, with Ellie, you could say he has some of the best power potential in the sport. He's arguably the fastest player in the sport,
right.
and he plays pretty good defense. He's a good baseball player by default.
Right.
Like how obviously where he ranks is just going to depend on can you just stop whiffing as much as you do, number one, and can you stop hitting the fucking ball on the ground so much? I understand he's going to beat some of them out. This is not DJ LeMahieu hitting the ball on the ground all the fucking time. He's going to beat some of them out, but if you put the ball in the air, you put the ball into gaps too, and if you put the ball in the gaps, he's going to run forever because we've seen it.
Yeah, he had some crazy stat like he was top 5 in the minors in exit velo from both sides of the plate. Like I'm sure he'll figure it out.
Yeah,
like, I'm positive.
Right. And if he ends up being one of those guys who strikes out 30% of the time, he's still going to be really good.
Right.
Because guess what? When you hit the piss out of the baseball, they tend to find grass or the seats.
Yeah, he's lucky to find the seats sometimes. He hits it farther than that. Like he's
yeah. There was one he hit in Cincinnati. It was a majestic blast. Like that shit nearly like I think he hit like the back row if I'm not mistaken. Majestic home run.
Yeah, people breaking down 1 year like war.
And it's okay to have fun and watch somebody, man. Like I get it. For him to maximize just from a purely baseball analyst point, like I'm not talking about the people who get paid to do this stuff. I'm talking about the amateur guys who are just like, oh, why are you gassing this guy? He hits a lot of ground balls. He's a fucking rookie. And he runs like that and he hits for power like that. That's why we're gassing him. It's a projection. Like we're not gassing the 2022 version or the 2023 version. We think he's just going to be better. And the tools are as loud as anybody's in the sport. We think he's going to be fine.
Yeah, I'm looking at his projections for this year, and I don't even agree with them. They're saying 14 home runs. I don't see it.
How many games is he playing? 12? In this
projection? They have 414 plate appearances, which he had 427 this year in 98 games. So I don't know where that comes from.
414?
I don't know. That's baseball reference. That's his projection.
Okay. All right. 14 home runs. Listen, if his higher lower number is anywhere close to that, please bet the higher. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't.
Please, because he's hit more than 14 home runs. I feel very confident saying that much.
He had 13 last year.
like right, and quite frankly, like if you told me there was a prop where you could bet the higher lower on inside the park home runs, I'd probably bet the higher on that one too. To be honest with you, like if you told me like 1.5 inside the park homers, higher or lower, I'd probably bet the higher.
Yeah, he turns 22 next week. I'm sure
he's gonna be a star. It's just a matter of when, man. He's gonna be a star. Because even if he's less extreme Joey Gallo, with more speed. He's like a top 10 player in the sport. Like, I'm not exaggerating. If that's just all he is, he's a top 10 player in the sport. If he manages to be better than that, then we're talking about rare air at that point.
Yeah, Tyler O'Neill Jr. over here. But hopefully, I mean, keep your eyes and ears peeled. Something will happen tomorrow, today.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You're
it might happen
welcome.
at 10 Eastern. We're getting off here at 9. It might happen at 10 Eastern as soon as we get off.
We'll see you then, because that's just how this offseason has gone. See you.